So Kristen Kramer describes herself as the F-bomb dropping mom who tells it like it is. She does not apologize. She's authentic and believes that success or failure, you have to own it. Kristen says she's daring to dream big and hopes to inspire others to do the same. After 13 years in the hospitality industry, Kristen launched her own business, Girl Friday Virtual Office, in 2011. For nearly 11 years, she and her team have provided strategic support to entrepreneurs, helping them grow their own businesses. She lives in Kansas City, Missouri, in the metro area, and is married to John, who's, as she quotes, puts up with her for 20 years. Together, they have a daughter who is 13, who is a trailblazer at heart. They have 2 German shepherds, 2 cats, and a lizard. So some things Kristen enjoys: hiking with Lexi and their dogs. She crochets, Girl Scouts, all things crafty, and always challenges herself to listen, to understand, learn more, and become better than she was yesterday. Kristen's burning desire is to ignite people's inner sparks so they can light up the world and make it better. So with that being said, welcome very much, Kristen.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
Well, good. I'm very excited too. So the way the show is going to work is, if I know the guests, which I do know Kristen, we've already talked before we came on, and a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. What we haven't done is gone into what is causing the energy block, what is causing the feelings of not feeling good about yourself, that you're enough, feeling empowered. So today you're going to learn how easy this is to go in and heal yourself. And you will get to participate in the healing as well. If you can identify with it, that's totally up to you. So today you want to tell the audience what you would like to clear.
Yeah, I wanted to work on imposter syndrome. The, just the feeling of, I know I'm good enough. I know that I'm talented and intelligent and that people need to hear my message, but I think I really hold back because I'm afraid of being caught not being as perfect as I want to be seen as.
So why do you feel you need to be perfect?
Well, I think it's because I have, I feel like there's a way to present yourself so that people have confidence in your abilities. And I have a really hard time sharing my, what I would term as weaknesses, but I mean, I guess they're not really weaknesses. It's just my vulnerability. So I have a difficult time being vulnerable in front of people that I don't know, sometimes in front of people that I do know. And so, I like to say that, I'm an introvert practicing to be an extrovert. So I think my nature is to hold things very close to the vest. And, I guess in that case, I'm sort of afraid of being found out. My vulnerability is to be found out, and that I'm not like this, strong, courageous, just go for it person who never has any doubts or second thoughts.
Okay, so you're right. This is not about being enough. This has to do with a self-esteem. It has to know that you're worthy. And there's a trust issue. Right. And your trust issue of allowing yourself to be vulnerable and not judging yourself and worrying about that people are going to find you that you're less than. Mm-hmm. So here I am. I'm saying it's not enough, but there is part of that is not enough. because someone may not love you or like you if they find that you have a weakness, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you could be like me, who is very right brain and just comes up with things all the time and, and operate from that. So this is what people expect, right? No, I'm making a joke, and I don't want to joke about this, because the imposter syndrome, there is a terminology for it. It's actually considered a real condition that psychologists and counselors look at. We are going to talk about it on an emotional, spiritual level. And this is where you're going into the mental, the spiritual, into the emotion. So, let's go ahead and do that. So what I would like to do is begin by doing a little prayer, bringing us together. And also anybody that is watching the show has an opportunity, to do a healing also. And you may not exactly identify with Kristen, how she feels like an imposter, but there may be something in your own life. I will tell you, Kristen, my gut tells me that a lot of people feel like you do. They're really afraid to be vulnerable. They're afraid that people aren't going to like them.
Mm-hmm.
So I, for someone who doesn't mind saying the F-bomb and who likes to be real and doesn't make up an excuse, it's time for you to own it.
Exactly. I know, it's such a contradiction.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. So it is honestly time for you to do that. So let's go ahead and get centered. So I'm calling on our creator, eternal light, God, of all there is, of the vibrational love and light, to the purest vibrational energy. And I am asking that whatever is for everybody's highest good, and to protect each and every one, and bring forth whatever's for our highest and best good. And that in this moment of time of unconditional love, I'm requesting and receiving pure insight, wisdom, truth to assist Kristen of unconditional love, and that she may be healed of whatever she needs to be, so she feels more empowered to be who she really is. So with that, let's begin. Amen. And I love doing that because it also helps me stay centered. So the first thing I'm wanting to know at age 8, can you identify with age 8 of feeling in school, age 8 and age 14? It could be 8th grade. I feel like it is age 8 and 8th grade. So we're going to stay with the 8 right now, of something that you might have said, something that you weren't taken seriously in school, and maybe somebody reacted. Maybe it was a friend across the street, somebody in your life.
So let's see, age 8, I would have been, is that third grade?
Second or third.
So
most people, I would say third.
Yeah. So probably the one thing that sticks out to me the most was it was a bit of a turbulent time between my mom and I, and my dad. And I'll present it the way I remember it as a kid, because obviously being an adult, you have a much different perspective. But as a kid, I can remember, I would go visit my dad for the summer and holidays and things like that. And always had fun, and then my mom, because I lived with my mom full time, I would come back home. And of course, she would have, she'd want me to clean my room, and she'd, have all of these expectations. And I can remember she sent me up to clean my room, and I knew the rule was not to just shove everything underneath my bed, right? I knew that was the expectation. But I shoved it all underneath my bed, and then I was like, yeah, I'm done with my room. It's all clean and everything. And so my mother, knowing that there was no way it could be clean that quickly, came up, and ended up yanking all of my stuff back out from underneath the bed into the middle of my room. And she's like, you cannot, like, you're not leaving this room until it's all clean. Right. And we had an argument, and I must have said something to her to the effect of, well, my dad doesn't make me do stuff like that, or something to that effect. And so we had an argument about, well, if, you want to go live with him, then go live with him. And she even grabbed a suitcase and started like putting stuff into it. And I know that even then I knew it was because I really hurt her feelings. Like, I deeply hurt her feelings. But I think that what probably was sort of born out of interactions like that was that, what I was feeling wasn't necessarily what I should share, So I learned to, I think, kind of say more of, what was expected as a child versus what I actually thought or felt when I was a kid, which is funny because as a young adult, that it was the complete opposite of that. So I think that would be around age 8. I didn't go live with my dad. I stayed with my mother, but it was very like emotionally loaded. It was a very emotionally loaded day.
Yeah, it is. So I want you to close your eyes and just get
Mhm.
centered into your body. And I want you to go back to thinking about that, being
Mhm.
8 and being humiliated, embarrassed. You're going to have to go live with your dad now. She's telling you you're ungrateful. You're feeling shame.
Mm.
So where can you feel that energy in your body? Where is it stuck?
I think it feels like it's kind of behind my eyes.
Okay. And if you don't feel it in your body, then it could already be cleared, other than it did come up right now. It did. So I do sense that there's something there. So behind the eyes have to do with seeing. You didn't really want to see that your mom that you loved and adored is ready to ship you off if you don't walk the line.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very, very true. I mean, I did feel very, very ashamed of the way I'd behaved and the things that I had said. And then it hurt that she was so willing to whip out a suitcase and pack it for me. I think that hurt a lot, as an adult, I totally get it, but
Right, right. Well, we know that, we know that. But what happens, energy still plays
Mhm.
out. So if we don't clear it doesn't have to be something that is earth shattering to have trauma, but it leaves an impression. It leaves an impression in us that then starts to play out. And it
Mhm.
really, we're just not taught, none of us are taught that your mom could have at a later date, could have said, honey, I'm really sorry, da 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 da. But I would say it was very hard on her. There's a lot,
Mhm.
we don't know what was going on in her life. And she needed to be, what happened. And,
Mhm.
and obviously, I don't feel she really meant to make you feel shame, didn't want you to feel that. So tell me about age 14.
Let's see. So 14, that's is that seventh grade? Because no, that's probably eighth grade.
It is eighth grade.
Yeah, because I wasn't 16 when I went into ninth. Um, so eighth grade. Um,
Anything in school that you can remember, anything in your class, because this is about you feeling confident and that no matter what you say, you're going to be loved and accepted.
yeah, I think, in eighth grade, it was I started noticing, I think, more about how other kids interacted and behaved, and probably started seeking, more acceptance. I mean, even back in third grade, I was pretty quiet and pretty shy. And so I didn't strike up. It wasn't easy for me to make friends because I wasn't outgoing and to talk to people. But I think that carried through. And then in 8th grade, I think it just became more apparent because, I had some friends that were starting to have crushes on boys. And, I wasn't really tracking the same way that they were because I wasn't super interested in boys yet. And I didn't wear makeup, and my friends were starting to wear makeup and really, do their hair all the time and things like that. So I was a bit of an oddball, I guess, in school because I wasn't worried about being popular, and I wasn't really worried about, having all of the right clothes and hair and everything. And I think that made it even harder for me to make friends because people had a difficult time relating to me, as another kid.
Do you remember anyone laughing at you? Do you remember anything said? Or are we going to say the awkwardness just made you anxious, uncomfortable to be able to stand up? So in other words, you felt like a wallflower?
Not really a wallflower, but definitely on the outside of the different cliques and groups in school. Even in high school, I hung out with like all the guys that were playing like Dungeons and Dragons. Like I wasn't hanging out with like the cheerleaders or I just was. And I was in German club. I mean, there were not a lot of us in German club. So I think I have a long history of sort of being on the fringe, of really being categorized into any group. And in 8th grade, I think it really started to show itself. Because you just have so much more interaction with school kids, and you're starting to do things after school and things like that. So, I didn't always get invited to all the parties. But I mean, I guess either I was really okay with it, or I convinced myself that I was okay with it and it didn't bother me because that was just the way it was.
Right. So it
So,
was awkward. It was awkward for you to fit
yeah.
in and to feel like you could fit in. You can keep your eyes open. You can close your eyes. I want you. The point is to get into your body
Mhm.
and become very aware of growing up and feeling the different times in your life that you just didn't fit in. You just were not maybe aggressive enough. You didn't know what to say. Maybe your sense of humor didn't go over with people. Maybe you didn't know how to do it. And you just weren't for sure people liked you. Where do you feel that energy?
I'd say like my hips and thighs.
Okay, so let's go into the heart center. And let's go into the heart of that desire to trust, to be loved and adored no matter what, and to know that it's safe to be able to speak up. Can you feel any energy in your heart as I say that?
Um, a little bit. I think I'm distracted with the other with my legs.
In the
Yeah.
legs and the hips.
Yeah.
Okay. Legs, hips, and eyes, behind the eyes. That's what we have. So the heart, that's fine. So you're feeling it as I'm talking. It's not in the heart. It is in the legs and the hips. Right. Okay. That's perfectly fine. So getting to your heart centered, do you realize getting to your heart centered, there's an energy block of us talking, of acceptance, having a voice, of feelings like it's okay, you know, to show up the way you are and people are going to like you. And it's okay to say the F bomb if you want to, and no one's going to look at you and think you're crazy. So, or that you're rude, or you know, something is not right. Okay. Now I've got one more age that came that I intuitively felt at age 28. Anything at age 28 that stands out?
Um,
What were you doing in your life at 28?
yeah, I'm trying to think what I was doing in my life at 28. I have to figure out what year that was. What year was that? Hold on. Let me math. Just a second. I'll math and then I'll know. And once we get past grades, it's what age was I? Or what year was it? Oh, the year 2000. Okay. So in 2000, let's see. Yeah, I was really at sort of a crossroads in my life where I was either going to stay in Dallas and take like a project management job, or I was going to move to Kansas City, or back here. This is where I grew up, and work at the property level at a hotel. And I had just, kind of been out of a relationship for a little while, and then my husband and I started reconnecting that same year. So I had a lot of life decisions going on, like what made the most sense for me. And I think not wanting to repeat making decisions based on just a relationship alone, but really making decisions based on what I felt was best for myself and my future.
Okay, so go back. We're not going to talk about that relationship, the old one, but I want you to go in, take a deep breath and breathe and think of who he is, and see if you can feel anything in your body that has not been released yet around that relationship that was not permitting you to be yourself, to be loved and accepted with just who you were.
Yeah, so that's probably more, in my chest and like belly button area.
Okay. All right. So ask yourself, the person you were before you met him, because I think you were with him for 5 years,
Yeah.
3 years, 4.
But
Person that you were before him and the person you were right after you broke up. Is there any similarities or of that part? Were you happier before or happier after?
Well, I think I was happier after, but because it was such a relief to
Okay.
get out of that relationship. And I felt stronger, like more like I had come through something. And so I was stronger for it because I had a very clear understanding of what was acceptable, what I would tolerate in relationships, be it with another partner or in friendships even, and what was not acceptable and what I would no longer tolerate.
Okay. Age 18. What was the major thing in your life at age 18?
So 18, let's see.
17, 18. You're in high school, senior in high school.
Yeah. So I was 17 when I graduated because I started school early, September, baby. So I had lost my mom on June 30th of 1990, and then went to college. So I think I started my first semester at UMKC and then transferred to another college later. But so yeah, so I had another big transition in my life where probably wasn't so focused on making decisions because, I'd already kind of plotted out what, high school, then college and all of that. But yeah, I mean, it would have been a big transition year.
Okay. All right. So just take a deep breath. I don't normally notice that all these 8 years old, 8th grade, 17, 18, and then 28. So some big things. Thank you. You're very courageous. Thank you very much. All right. So let's go ahead and let's do some release work. So what you're going to do is today is, you've got some grief. We're not going to go into it. I know that that's not where we were going to go today. We didn't think. So let's just be aware there is grief. And being in the imposter syndrome, I believe, is a life of just, everybody has their own life, right? But with yours, you have a lot of pride, a lot of integrity to be real. I mean, that's who you are, right? And life basically threw some curveballs at you. And so trying to be loved and liked and stand up to be strong. Where's your support system, right? If it wasn't for John is your support system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lexi is. So Alex is. So they are your support system. And so this other stuff is, it seems trivial because now you think, well, I'm an adult, but it isn't. It's still paying out. And there's still some wounds here that it's time to release it. Age 14 is something to be able, that whole thing fitting in. And so we want to acknowledge that. So are you ready to let this go?
I am.
Has been held down for the last 4 or 5 years of your life. You're in your 20s now. Breathe. Breathe, because that energy is fading. So I want you to imagine that energy and let it fade. And you become stronger. You have a voice. You don't have to run. So move that energy away from your wrist, your right hand that has held you back. Just put your hand up and see that energy go into the light. So at this time, take your hand and send that energy into the light. Can you do that right now? With your eyes closed, just send with the other hand, hold your hand up and send the energy into the light. Removing that karmic energy. It's old energy. That's all it is. Let's remove it. And you're going to do that by sending the light into it. Breathing, giving yourself permission to free the energy up in your hips of mobility, the anger, the rage that you've held on to. Just see that energy go. Your hips are moving. Forgive yourself. This is about you forgiving yourself. You can bring your hand back down and just stay in the light that is surrounding you as you're in the quantum fields that feels very much like heaven, and you're in the quantum field of healing. The karmic relationship, the ancestral relationship, and the Akashic records of why did you bring that relationship to you? Had it been from a previous time? You're just going to send it light. And this is about you loving and accepting yourself and forgiving yourself. So forgive you. Forgive that person. Because that person, it's gone. It's over with. It's done with. Now send the love and the light into your hips and to your legs. Keep breathing the light into the hips and the legs. Bring the light back into your heart. Just see how your body is feeling, freeing it. And right before you is John, and your mother is there, and your father. And I want you to hug your father, thanking him for being your dad. Squeeze, give your mother another hug of that vibrational energy entwining together and the quantum field of healing, of life, of love, rewriting your story, healing at the core level. Keep that energy going till the light, that your hips, your legs, behind your eyes, that energy is dissipating. And you're going to do that with love. So before you, you're on stage. And you go up on stage and you get to be you, this incredible person with this phenomenal business. And you start smiling and laughing, and you drop the F-bomb. You do whatever you want to do. And everyone in the audience is cheering you on. And they're accepting you. And you get angry, and people are still loving you and accepting you. And you do something silly and you don't always know the answer. It's okay. It's all right. Because you love and accept yourself, and you see the audience loving and accepting you. So breathe in that love and light of all those millions of souls that are watching you, that are with you, surrounded with all of the higher vibrational energy. And it's your ancestors in the audience and your tribe loving and accepting you. So remember that anybody you meet is going to be a part of the tribe that you bring to you. So just love and accept yourself. This is about you loving and accepting you. So take another deep breath. And I want you to come be very focused into your body, very focused, your soul, your spirit, knowing your mom is always with you. The love and light, fully grounded in the love and the light. And when you're ready, when you feel you can open your eyes, you're ready, you do that. Wow.
Yeah, that
So,
was amazing.
wow. That was a lot deeper than I thought we would be going on, on TV, actually. That was a lot of vulnerability for you.
Yes.
And a lot. And I really commend you. Very courageous. For a person who's afraid that someone's not going to like them. Wow. I'm hoping that people will comment in the comment section cheering you on. This is huge, because you've just helped a lot of people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that they were helped by it.
Yeah. And let's check in and see where you are. So I want you to go back to age 8 with mom. And are you feeling that energy? And if so, where?
No, not really. Not like what I was before.
Is it behind your eyes still? Is there a sensation, or is that just, are you
No,
feeling, are you missing mom? Did this bring up a lot of stuff with mom today? Are you all right?
no, I'm fine. Yeah, no,
Okay,
I feel very light.
good, good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to being 14 years old. Any energy there?
No, I don't think so.
Go back to 28. Anything there?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so when you're 17, 18, thinking about your mom, where's that energy?
I still have a little bit, in the upper back, but it's not heavy or upsetting.
Okay, so it's in the upper back.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's close your eyes for a minute.
Okay.
Let's get to love. Let's bring it out, because on the other side of your heart is going to be like the middle of your back, right?
Hmm.
Like more the upper back. So let's just breathe in the love and the light. Put your hand on your heart. Your mom's love is with you. Your mom is actually, I feel, standing behind you, holding the light for you. Is there something you want to tell your mom?
She's the strongest woman I ever knew or have known.
And you miss her?
I do. And I also know that she's the reason that I am the person I am today.
Okay, so just keep holding that love and light and see if you can release what's in the back right now. And obviously, it's going to come and go. You never know about grief, but right now, let's see if you can release what's in the heart, just because holding on to that heaviness is what's causing right now. And just know that by letting it go, you're going to be even feeling more love and light from your mother, because then you're able to. I mean, what I'm feeling from her is like you were the perfect child, actually. Did she ever tell you that?
Um, I don't think so.
Well, you reminded her of herself, but you really were not a trouble. You really weren't. And what I'm getting, it's you just loving and accepting yourself. She admired you and loved you, and to this moment loves you very much. Now, you may or may not at this time be able to release that energy. If it's not, that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to get rid of it all on one time. But if you're ready, we can open your eyes. And were you able to let that go in the back, or do you need to do that another time?
I think most of it, I think, is cleared.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
it's a work in progress.
Well, it is. It's called life.
Yeah.
But I do believe that you were a near perfect child for your mom, and more than you realize. So think about it. You're an only child, very intelligent. You didn't really get to be a kid, right?
No, not
No,
really.
no. And, she had a lot of stuff going on in her own life. So we don't want to go down that,
Hmm.
because that'll we're going to go to a continual session, and it's really the end of our show. So we need to go. So I want to thank the audience for being here, the viewers, that you participated in this. The imposter syndrome, as you can tell, came a little different. It's going to be different for everybody. And it's for you to be okay, to be yourself, and that you don't have to be perfect, that you can mess up, you can fall, you can drop something. You don't have to know everything. You can be scattered even. It's okay. You're going to be love and light. And that even in your business, by being authentic and knowing that you don't always know everything. And you and I've talked about that. You always say that, but you know more than the average person does. And your ability to organize and keep things together and to help businesses is extraordinary. It really is. So you
Thank
have a
you.
beautiful gift. Is there anything else you would like to say before we go?
No, I just really appreciate being on your show and helping you with this, and you helping me with my block, and clearing heavy energy out of the way so I can go and step into this new phase of my life. So
Good, good.
yeah,
Well, thank you.
yeah, it's been
All
fun.
right. Yeah. All right.